Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Georgie1 and I'm your friendly neighborhood anime and manga fan. I love all things anime and all things manga, and I'm here today to talk about Hunter x Hunter chapter 399. That's right, we're only one chapter away from the big 400. And I'll just start off by saying that I love this chapter. This chapter was very shocking and very intriguing, and a lot of, big plot threads are being resolved and a lot of questions are being answered as well. Mostly concerning the room that we have been all, wondering, like, where is this gateway that Nobunaga and Heinrich are going to. And in this chapter we get a confirmation of, they do reach their destination. However, it didn't go as they expected. Now, before I get into this week's chapter, I just wanted to remind you guys to make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you guys can be up to date with all Hunter x Hunter and anime and manga content I'll be providing in this channel going forward. I'm currently uploading Berserk, Hunter x Hunter, Chainsaw Man, and My Dress Up Darling content. So a vast variety of a lot of anime and manga. So if you guys would like to subscribe to my YouTube channel, I'd really appreciate it. Now, with that being said, this week's chapter starts with pretty much where we left off in last week's, which is pretty much Nobunaga and Heinrich. They find the room and they're like, yeah, let's go inside and check it out. And what we see is, actually, the second they get in the room, it's this room, like it looks like a lot of blood everywhere and whatnot. And we see that the second they enter, Nobunaga can just tell, like, oh no, this is a trap, like, we've been spotted and they know we're here. And we saw a little glimpse of that last week when we saw an image of Morena. So I'm sure that Morena has something to play along the lines of why they got, discovered, because I'm sure it's part of her nan ability and whatnot. So Heinrich and Nobunaga, knowing that they got exposed, Nobunaga asked Heinrich, like, what do you want to do? And and Heinrich was like, I told you, let's do the action. So they get inside, and the second they walk in the room, they just see a bunch of, the Highly members, and they're just sitting around in the table, and, they're just talking amongst themselves about, pretty relevant stuff. But the main thing is Heinrich and Nobunaga, they're like, hey, you there, and nobody's answering to them. So at first they're like, are they ignoring us, or they're just playing dumb? And so what happens is, Nobunaga was like, hey, you did say you wanted action, right? And Heinrich's like, yeah, that's right. And then he throws a knife at one and stabs him in the head. However, we find out that the guy's fine. And what happens is, he actually takes the knife out, and there's nothing. Like, the knife, the sharp edge of the knife disappears. So, and then we see that it manifested into a can that he was holding. So how I believe this ability works is that whenever he gets hit, if he's holding another object at the same time, he can grab it with his right hand and manifest the energy of that item into that other object. So he's emitting that energy to somewhere else. So he emitted the blade into the soda can, and Nobunaga and Heinrich, they were like, oh no, this is a bad matchup, because, like, obviously we're long range weapon users, so this doesn't really help us in our case. So pretty much what happens is, the guy, he's like, what are you guys doing? And then Heinrich is like, okay, I'm gonna throw another knife, and he throws another knife. They dodge whatever, but Nobunaga, the Chad that he is, he's like, enough of this. He goes for the kill, because he sees somebody like, oh, he sees this one guy, he's like, oh, hi, I'm the Highly representative, and I'm here to, you guys, you're breaking the rules and whatnot. And Nobunaga's like, dude, shut up. And then he just goes for the kill and stabs him in the head. However, he realizes that the guy is fine, because the guy was touching him. So the previous guy with the emitter ability, he was touching the legal representative guy. So he transmuted that energy / cut into another object that he was holding, which is, it's a cool ability. That's the thing I love a lot about Hunter x Hunter. It's that all these net abilities are all very different, and they're all pretty practical. Like, it's not about who's stronger than who. It's like it's a matchup thing. So you can be one of the strongest characters, but if somebody has a net ability that counters you, you're in a big world of trouble. So what happens is, Nobunaga, as he threw his sword and he was grabbing the sheath of the sword, he realizes that the guy is fine, and he retracts the sword, and he sees that part of the tip is went missing. And the guy's like, okay, you guys are in a world of trouble, you shouldn't have been putting your heads in here. And Nobunaga's like, bring it on, bro, I don't care. And what happens is, Nobunaga we actually see, this was cool, we actually see like I would say a little callback to Yu Yu Hakusho with either Kuwabara or Hiei, which pretty much Nobunaga, the blade that, you know, is cut off, he uses his nen and uses it as the tip of his blade. So it reminded me a lot of Kuwabara or Hiei from Yu Yu Hakusho, which is not a shocker since, you know, Togashi wrote, you know, Yu Yu Hakusho back in the day. So I thought that was a little shout out / a little Easter egg. Now following that up, we see that the legal representative guy is like, hey, you guys are not welcome here. And same thing with the emitter guy, and then they start tracking down like, okay, I know exactly how their abilities work. So what we see is that pretty much the emitter guy, we get a little biography of how his ability works, and you know, it's cool and why not. And we also get the same with the representative guy, because we find out that he has an N ability, which pretty much how it works is that he summons these indestructible looking robots, like, but the thing is they cannot harm you, but they also can't harm. Like, they don't take any damage and they cannot deliver any damage. They're strictly used to, you know, get people out of the hideout. So what happens is Nobunaga tries to attack one of them and it does nothing. Pretty much he's like, whoa, they must be indestructible. And they're at their max level. So the higher the level, the more efficient they're going to be at their job. So right now they're at max level. And we see that these little Nen robot things, they overwhelm Nobunaga and pretty much they kick him out. And Nobunaga's like, oh, what the heck? And then they don't just kick him out, they also take his sword. So, you know, rubbing salt on the wound, like Nobunaga is now, you know, weaponless. So it was funny. It was a little fun little banter and why not. And Nobunaga's like, Heinrich, you gotta get out of here, bro. They're gonna do the same to you. And eventually the representative guy tells Heinrich like, hey, you committed attempted murder, you infiltrated, you must get out of here. And he's like, all right, whatever, I won't try to fight you guys. You see, Heinrich is a smart guy. This is the thing I love about Heinrich. Heinrich knows that this is no scenario for him. There's no win scenario in this case. So his main concern is just, where do I plant the transmitter so we can, you know, track down this location next time we come here and we know exactly where it's at. So pretty much he's like, yeah, okay, I'll leave, why not? But before he leaves, you do see that he left the tracker behind. So that makes me and the audience know that pretty much, yeah, they got their mission was accomplished. You know, they would have hoped they go in there and then defeat everybody and then find Morena and kill her and why not. But obviously it didn't work out that way. However, now that the transmitter is there, we know that the Phantom Troop members, Phaeton and Sphinx, they do have the tracker. So they can just, you know, once Heinrich and Nobunaga get out of there, they can go back to the warehouse and, you know, wreak havoc. Like, you know, they can just wreck shop. So Heinrich, very, very important thing he did in this chapter. Now going forward, they get escorted, and Nobunaga figures out like, okay, so there must be in this room that we just got teleported back, there's a way for you to be kicked out, as well as there's a way for you to enter that room as well. So it's a two-way kind of teleporting door from what I got. And he's trying to figure out like there must be another door that you can go and actually go to the main where Morena is, but they don't know where, and they don't want to, you know, bother with it because they just got kicked out. So they know they're gone and out match right now. Nobunaga might be the strongest among all the, you know, people there, but you know, it doesn't matter if these people have Nen abilities that counter you / you know, can take care of you. So pretty much they leave, and Heinrich is like, yeah, we got what we wanted, so let's split. And they're like, okay. Now the chapter ends with pretty much, you know, Heinrich and Nobunaga, like Heinrich tells Nobunaga like, hey, I used up too much of my Nen, and also I used all my knives. So going forward, I'm just gonna be playing the supporting role, like, because, you know, I can't do anything right now. And Nobunaga's like, no, that's fine, bro. Thanks. You know, you did a good job, and why not? And, you know, Heinrich notes like, you know, these guys are pretty rookies. Like these guys are rookies. Like they're not that great. And Nobunaga states like, yeah, I'm sure the person, you know, pulling the pieces, you know, they must be really smart. If, you know, you got a bunch of rookies right here, yet you can still, you know, choreograph them and manipulate them to, you know, do these tasks that they by themselves can do on their own. So yeah, Morena, very tactical, very smart when it comes to, you know, the way she's playing, you know, the chess pieces and the way she's calculating everything. So with that being said, yeah, this chapter was great. And, you know, the chapter ends with a little note saying that, yeah, next chapter we're gonna see the princesses as well as the Phantom Troop, you know, get involved in the action. So I'm sure that next week's chapter we're gonna see Phaeton, Sphinx, and Nobunaga they're gonna go in there, and this time different story, because I'm sure they're gonna be, the Phantoms with these 3 members. Oh, I think they're done. Like highly, I think, they're cute little tricks. I'm sure they're gonna find some ways to, take care of them. But yeah, with this week's chapter was great. I loved it. I thought that this chapter was very fascinating, because we got a lot of new Nen abilities and a lot of very cool ones at that, because that's the one thing about Hunter x Hunter. I think Nen is the best power system in all of Shonen, as well as one of the best power systems in all of anime, period, because there's so many varieties and different ways you can use the Nen ability, and why not. So this chapter really, captured that, and I loved it. Like, I think Togashi's a master when it comes to creativity, when it comes to their the Nen abilities and why not. So yeah, with that being said, I love this chapter, and I'm looking forward to next chapter, which is the big 400, which is crazy because 400 chapters into this story, and I still feel like we got another 100 to 200, but I'm not being too optimistic with that. But I am very happy to know that Hunter x Hunter is back, and we're still delivering chapters weekly, for the time being, that is. But yeah, I can't wait for the big 400. And with that being said, what did you guys think about this week's chapter? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys love it? Did you thought it was all right? Whatever you guys thought, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, thank you so much for sticking all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more anime and manga content in the near future. But yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.